it's important to note that, ironically, something funny is going on in our nation. Ours is a nation where bandits are killing and abducting citizens all over the place, and nobody's filing any terrorism charge against them. It's an irony of some sort. Almost all across the country, filling stations have become almost like a carnival and behavioral activities. You would think that Davido, Burna Boy, and Wizkid combined are performing at the filling stations, and this has been going on for months now. Long queues, even outside, just at the junction there, Transcorp Hilton, there is massive traffic, filling stations. For me, I think that even the military were careful to arrest protesters and charge them for treasonable felony. But the Tinubu government is not wise enough, or I'll say they are recklessly shameless to have gone this route.
Good evening, everyone. I know how many Bokøharam members that were pardoned during Muhammadu Buhari's administration, and they equally induct them into the Nigerian military. I know about so many people who committed so many grievous things that were pardoned. I mean people who were shooting down Nigerian aircraft. They shot down 2 Nigerian aircraft during during Buhari's administration. And the same people, when the military will just, catch them, they will make sure they, rehabilitate them. That is the language they use, and call them repentant Boko Haram. And most of the time, when these Boko Haram members, all these terrorists in Nigeria, anytime they are out of food, they don't have food to eat, the next thing they will do is that they will surrender temporarily. They will call them repentant Boko Haram members, and they will equip them, give them food, do everything. Sometimes they will even give them house and put them into the military. And in a country where all these things are happening, you still see the same government who are doing all these things coming against people who are protesting. Now, that will bring a shockwave to your mind to think, what is the government up to that you forgive terrorists and charge protesters with treason? And that is what Tinubu wants. He wants the protesters to be jailed. He wants them to be, he wants a life sentence to be passed on them. He wants a death sentence to be passed on them. But before we go into that, listen to Deji Adeyanju, one of the lawyers that are representing the protesters who are currently in detention and they are going to court. Despite we know that the allegation of the federal government is not going to hold water, but this is a grievous thing and it must be resisted by all costs.
Yes, basically because I would avoid saying anything about the matter, which the court's already seized off, because I'm a counsel in that matter, and I wouldn't want to be quoted for anything that would be sub judice. And having said that, it's important to note that, ironically, something funny is going on in our nation. Ours is a nation where bandits are killing and abducting citizens all over the place, and nobody's filing any terrorism charge against them. It's an irony of some sort. Almost all across the country, filling stations have become almost like a carnival and behavioral activities. You would think that Davido, Burna Boy, and Wizkid combined are performing at the filling stations, and this has been going on for months now. Long queues, even outside, just at the junction there, Transcorp Hilton, there is massive traffic, filling stations. For me, I think that even the military were careful to arrest protesters and charge them for treasonable felony. But the Tinubu government is not wise enough, or I'll say they are recklessly shameless to have gone this route. But I'm not surprised. The best critics make the worst leaders. Check all around Africa. Museveni was a former critic. Today he's a complete tyrant. And look at the guy in Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. He opposed attempt by Laurent Gbagbo to do a 3rd term. Now he has amended the constitution and is on a 3rd term. So there's nothing that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his men and his cohorts who are desperate to, silent dissent, attack the media. You can see they arresting journalists and also protesters and arraigning them with terrorism and all that. So there's nothing they are doing that is new or unique. They are just trying to outdo their fellow tyrants all across the continent. So for us, we are surprised and shocked by the magnitude of the charge, but we are not dismayed in any way. because we knew that a day like this was going to come from the body language of the government.
Right. Do you think this has to do with the planned October 1 protests?
Yes.
Is this what the government is trying to signal to those who may have any plans to banish the thought?
Yeah, of course. Even the first PRO said this was going to serve as some form of deterrence. You know, they are scared of protest, but protest is inevitable. If fuel queues persist, if hunger persists, they are looking for sponsors of protests. They haven't found any sponsor of any protest. And that's why you see all this attempt at, blaming people that cannot be blamed. Hunger is the reason why people are
those who
angry.
give dates for protests.
Yes.
I mean,
they are doing the government a lot of favor.
What exactly do they have in mind?
Yes, those who give a date, who provide venue. Have you seen anybody saying that they want to overthrow the government among the people that give date, time and venue? Those who give dates, if they want to do coup, would they tell the president, oh, we're going to coup you on October 1st. Oh, we are planning a coup. Oh, please call. Is that how people overthrow government? All over the world. You know,
but again,
people don't overthrow government like that.
But let's give the secret agents or agencies the benefit of the doubt. You're a lawyer, and you just might not be privy to the information that they have.
And this information, they don't have it against bandits and terrorists. They only have it when there are protesters. Why are pro-government protesters not facing treasonable charges? Why is it that it's only protesters who are against the government that are the problem of this country? So the kidnappers that kidnapped and killed an emir, that does not deserve enough attention to warrant us going after them. Nobody is talking about, there's no anger on the part of government that a traditional ruler in this country was abducted and killed. You know, all the protesters were saying is that they want bad governance to come to an end. So the government has a problem with bad governance. Yes, I know why they are angry. They are angry because the protesters wanted to go after their source of livelihood, which is when the protesters said that the politicians need to cut the cost of governance. That's what got them angry. And that's why protesters are now facing treasonable felony.
So, with all of this going on now, is this likely to deter those who may want to go out to protest or come October?
That is the plan. That is the aim. However, protests are not going to stop, trust me. This style, even under the military, did not deter people from protesting. How much more a supposedly democratically elected government. This government and the participants of this government are people that benefited from the June 12th struggle, which was a struggle that was on the wings of protest. All of a sudden, I do not know what the issue is, or what even as we speak, comrades are still being, a comrade was arrested yesterday in church, and members of the church say, why are you arresting him because he protested? They said in the church that he is an armed robber.
Well, let's because we're winding down. You just said supposedly democratically elected government. Supposedly, but again, it's a democracy.
Are we acting like this is a democracy?
It's a democracy, and we witnessed an election.
Yes.
But speaking about the rights of these people, before they were arraigned today, they've been in custody. And speak to us about that length of time keeping them in custody and the rights of these people. Yeah.
Ordinarily, best practice will say that before you even arrest people, you've concluded investigation, you know, and you subsequently arrest, and after arrest, you arraign them, you know. Even from all that transpired before and after arrest, you can see that these guys were not prepared. They just wanted to arrest people so that other people and other future protests, once they see that people are being arrested for protests, they will be scared of coming out to participate in a protest. So the goal is they know that they are not likely to get anything out of the charge that has been preferred. You know, but I don't want to delve into that. But that is why they kept them for long, to punish them in anticipation that, yes.
Have they been well treated in custody
so far? The protesters have complained. Even the comrade that was arrested yesterday has sent an SOS to some comrades just this evening that he's been tortured. And that he's been tortured to make confessional statements and say certain things. And we leave it at the discretion of the Nigerian police force to come and disprove and debunk this assertion.
Right, the Oju rights lawyer, thank you very much for joining us. We do hope, things go well.
Anyway, there is not much to say about this. what they are doing, of which I know I've said this time without number, is that they are trying to set a standard so that people who are going to think about protests tomorrow are going to be scared that police is going to arrest them, something like that. That is what they really want. Anyway, going through Nigeria states and streets this a few days ago, I have been able to understand that so many people knows that they are suffering, but they don't just want to complain. Many Nigerians are not complaining, and they don't want to complain, and that is one of the tragic things that people are not seeing. Fenda Kuti saw this so many times ago, and he called them suffering and smiling people. Nigerians are suffering and smiling. I see so many people begging for food, people dying, people suffering different kind of things, and the same people are not ready to say, oh, we are suffering. They can't say that, but they keep on suffering. The country is really hard, and I'm tired of saying revolution is the solution, revolution is the solution. When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? When are we going to have sense to understand that this nation belongs to us, not to our gullible politicians? Anyway, only time will tell.